Many of you, if not all of you watching, play Wizard101. And as we get more invested into the game, the more inclined we are to keep playing, and maybe even socialize with others. One of the easier ways to socialize is to watch streamers and interact with their chat. But what if in doing so, you found yourself in a toxic environment? What if you were doing an activity that you enjoyed but couldn't escape being accused of doing something bad? You could be casually questing, and that storm that tagged along is telling you to solely buff him. Maybe you joined a guild to participate in advanced content, and you find yourself being berated for being in a certain guild. And then imagine if you were engaging in a side activity, like PvP, and you were publicly accused of being a bad faith actor. In fact, you might already know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say their name. Maybe you're thinking of multiple people. That's how problematic some content creators' behavior has become. They think almost everyone that does any off-like thing or move is a Q sniper or stream sniper. They accuse you of being like someone else because you potentially associate with that group. A kind of guilt by association, you could call it. But this isn't about a select few of people. No. This is about one individual. One that complains every single day, if not almost every single day. They make many sniper accusations. They have beef with many people within the community, and I would imagine after this video, myself as well. They make plenty of false accusations or characterizations about others. They dislike people being fake, but they themselves are fake. They say one thing, then do another. And then they also supposedly uphold to one set of standards, then immediately go against those standards when it benefits them, often saying things like, "Oh, I don't care." I imagine everyone knows exactly who I'm talking about, but for any of those still wondering who I'm speaking about, I'm talking about the content creator, Awesome the Sauce. Before I go further on this topic, I want to address the potential elephant in the room. For those that don't know, people like Awesome the Sauce often have negative interactions with those in the community. And usually it's the same kind of social groups, sometimes different, but regardless, it wouldn't be to my surprise if he too was to accuse me of malicious intent or dishonesty or something thereof. Why, you might ask? Well, as you'll see later in the video, there is this common trend of guilt by association. But for his sake, I want everyone watching to assume the worst about me and the best about him. After all, he had this to say about me.
Yo, Jetty, can I be honest? I feel like you have one of the most annoying personalities I've ever met. This dude's fake as hell. I gotta be honest, bro. The amount of trash you talk about me in the Wizard101 Discord every chance you get, don't act like you're a rational human being. You're just here to hate. Stop, bro. Honestly, don't do that. Cause he wants to call me a hypocrite every 2 seconds. Like, stop. Honestly, man. Like this, I've seen what you've said about me in the Discord all the time. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up.
I mean, yeah, you heard him. I should just shut my ass up, right? Oh, and by the way, for any of those that missed it, these are the messages you'll find me talking about Sauce in the Discord that he's referring to. It's the Wizcord. But again, let's be charitable, because there's a reasonable explanation for this clearly. A possible mistake? Maybe. But then again, he talks about me like he knows who I am. But you know what? Let's just forget this. Just because remember, we have to be charitable. And remember, we got to assume the worst about me and the best about him. Now, let's assume all the clips that you will see for the rest of this video are taken out of context. Let's assume the way I'm describing his character is done only with malicious intent and no hard concrete facts. Let's assume he's regularly having a bad day to explain his behavior. Let's assume, after everything I've shown you, that there's a completely reasonable justification. And to be clear, not an explanation, but a justification. Because anyone could give an explanation for anything about their situation. But that doesn't make it right.
Watch out for my life. And it's on a day when I actually haven't gotten sniped. It's so sad. You tied it? Yeah, I don't care. I literally don't care. Why'd you tie it? I don't care. I'm moving on. I'm not in the mood really, bro. I just hit. It doesn't really matter. If I go into the details of why I tied it, y'all are probably just gonna say I'm making excuses, so it doesn't really matter to me. Respectfully, you shouldn't have tied it. Respectfully, fine, I'll say why. If they're in a guild that has snipers in them, I am not a fan. So respectfully, they don't need to have my respect, because they don't respect me enough to keep their guild clean. So that's why, bro. Why tie? He's coming up to me talking like this, bro. Let's see. You have people in your guild that snipe regularly and are toxic. So just giving you never even gotten you before and you lived off of no crit. Yeah, sorry about that, bro. Sorry about that, bro. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really gonna do anything about it. You'll get him next time. It's a counter matchup. It's for keys. Okay, so go unlock some. I don't. Do I care? Did I ask? Honestly, that's valid though. No, because see, here's the thing, right? There's a guy in this guild named Jeffrey who has sniped me many, many times. And I went to their guild. This is like, I don't care. Like, you know, man, like if you're gonna have like a goddamn wreck for a guild, you know, is that not toxic? Yeah, it is. He's asking me if it is toxic. Maybe he isn't sniping. I mean, he's in a guild that has doxed me for playing this game, so I just assumed that sniping wasn't really like beneath them. This is the guy that stream snipes my life every time I queue. Another stream sniper. Every day. Yeah, it's just a classic case of I watch the streamer, I know what he packs, I'm gonna do this against him, right? I got an instant match after the last match took like 25 minutes. So it's gonna be Q snipes for the rest of the night. I'm just giving y'all a fair warning. I don't even know who this is. Because I mean, why would I get someone random, right? That's literally all it is, dude. I'm in Orange Cats. Yeah, dude, you're in a guild full of complete weird people.
So you can kind of get an idea of the frequency of his accusations. Again, being charitable, let's assume every single person he's talking about is guilty of Q sniping or stream sniping. You know, every single time. Doesn't matter. And even granting that all that would go to show is he is accidentally correct. Does he have evidence for when he's getting sniped at times? Sure. Does he usually have evidence for the amount of times he accuses people, even when they're random individuals? No. And that's kind of the problem. Every single time, no matter what, if you're guilty or not, if there's a guilt by association, it doesn't matter. If you haven't previously sniped him, doesn't matter. In his eyes, as long as he deems it, you are a sniper. So, speaking of supposed snipers, let's just talk about the one that Sauce particularly has had a problem with, despite attempts from this user to make compromises and adjustments as needed. For those that are familiar, this is the quote-unquote German sniper that's often referred to in his streams from time to time. What I will be showing you now is some DMs they have had about this person's supposed sniping habits. Obviously, take your time as needed to read it all, but as you'll see, the conversation starts off being a kind of pointless, yes you did, no you didn't accusation situation. But then it slowly deviates to oh, you've boosted in the past, which is different from the original intent of the conversation. It went from, hey, stop sniping me, to, you know what, you boosted in the past. And you know what, he admits to this being the case, which is fair enough, it's honest. The conversation continues, and you'll notice that in this particular section of the conversation, he doesn't even deny bringing up how, his name is brought up on the regular in his streams. Sauce just loves to bring this guy up. And then we end up discovering Sauce doesn't even have plans on reaching a resolution, which kind of questions the entirety of this conversation. And, right. In the bottom half of this conversation is where it gets really interesting. Quote unquote, I did not queue you today, and I won't because you keep making up delusions about how I snipe, and I'm getting tired of it. I don't know about everyone else, but assuming you're innocent and you're being regularly accused of sniping someone, and you know you aren't, but they're convinced because you've at least done it one time in the past, again, let's assume it's 1,000,000 times, right? This person, let's just assume 1,000,000 times they've done it. Doesn't matter. But then they want to change. You want to do better. And they still hold up this idea that you're sniping, even though you might not be doing anything. You would get a bit frustrated, I would imagine, right? So what Sauce's response to this entire thing? You're boosted, who cares? Not, I don't have to trust you. It's who cares about how I act because you're boosted. You've done one bad thing before. Actually, sorry, a million times. You've done a million bad things. Doesn't matter. Who cares, right? And I mean, I don't know about everyone here, but if I did something in the past, even if I did it a ton of times and I admit to it, I would hope you wouldn't try to weaponize that as if it helps your current case, right? So, all this ends up being is a matter of, hey, you did something bad at least one time, 100 times, a million times before. And therefore, who cares about how I treat you? And I mean, look, as you guys are reading through this, you're going to acknowledge his attitude and behavior is just outright absurd. The amount of evidence that you would need to provide to even merely convince him of the idea that he's mistaken would be insurmountable. Like, imagine having to record your day to day to simply demonstrate your innocence, because by default, you're assumed to be guilty every following day. Oh, and wait, the best part is this person does stream their actions, their gameplay, what they're doing. And it is still assumed that they do this merely as a cover up, a ploy, a facade to just look innocent, because apparently it's not possible to be innocent because of your past.
I don't care anymore. This is the guy that streams, and the first time that first match that he streams is always me, right? He's that guy. Let me guess, they just went live. Let me take a wild guess. Oh my god, man. Whatever. I don't know what to do, man. You know what? I'm not. And you don't feel bad about it. You're a warlord that doesn't even need rank, and you're Q sniping someone that's live. Oh my god, man. I don't understand how people wake up and decide to Jade and Q snipe. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is the guy that gets on his stream to Jade and apparently Q snipes someone with Tritons, Gearheads, and Rainbow Serpent in their deck. Like, are we for real? Like, why would you snipe into that? It doesn't make sense.
What I don't understand is why all of those people are talking trash and you don't moderate. Because I do not think that that's actually within TOS of Twitch either. You can't just get a bunch of people to shit talk. And I'll say it. You can't just get a bunch of people and build an audience over shit talking someone, bro. Really. Like, grow up. Like, please. Have some standards for your chat. Because you can look at my chat, honestly. You do it to him?
It's funny how much irony is in the statements he is making, because he says to have some standards in your chat. Just look at mine. And then one of his chatters immediately goes on to point out how he does the very same thing to him. Have standards. Don't shit talk. But he acts like accusing someone of Q sniping, jading, stream sniping, or whatever new excuse he can come up with is just not a problem. He doesn't even have proof for it. He doesn't even show the proof. He's just saying it. And since we're on the topic of credibility, let's just talk about Sauce's actions. We've talked a lot about this supposed German sniper, but let's talk more about what happens behind the scenes. If you're still watching this, you probably recall some of the messages I showed you earlier with Sauce and this Cass individual, or the German sniper, if you want to call him that. What if I told you that those very messages I showed you earlier were deleted? Or more specifically, Sauce attempted to cover up what he said in those DMs by deleting them. Here is a series of images displaying that he did in fact attempt to erase a huge chunk of their chat history. And if you're wondering what it was that he did delete, it was the messages I just showed you, a few moments in the video prior. You can always go back to that if you want to see the specifics. So feel free to stop the video to read this lengthy set or series of messages, but it's unfortunate. Sauce has blatantly shown that he tends to grasp for straws, weasel his way out of bad situations, make up excuses on the fly, and look for anything to justify his behavior. Because honestly, we're at the point where we have to start asking ourselves, to what degree is he getting targeted really? To what degree is he actually being harassed? Is it just his perception? Is it an actual reality? There is some overlap for sure, but how much of it is actual harassment? How much of it is it actual targeting? If you ask me, not even half as much as he wants to believe. And since we're reaching to the end of the video, because I cannot continue to keep listing the like several thousand things he likes to do, let me just save myself the trouble and just give you guys a TLDR. All right, so don't queue if you're a part of any of these following guilds. Don't tie matches against Sauce because that's bad sportsmanship. But if he does it, you have to take it on the chin and move on. Here's an example.
They're gonna hit anyways? Is that where we're at? Because they're dead to Lash, by the way. So he needed a calculator to tell him how many buffs to do, and he can't even win with that. He has to go for a tie, basically. He had this hit before he elfed, and he just didn't take it. But he just tied it. He tied it against a knight because he can't play the goddamn game. Like, people like you should not play the game. Genuinely. It's not worth anybody's time. Can't even ask to play the game without tying it. Like, what are you doing? You literally did that on purpose. It's very, very obvious what you just did. You tied it? Yeah, I don't care. I literally don't care. Play. What's wrong with these sergeants, bro? Genuinely, what's wrong with them? Why do you prefer this outcome? Like, I don't get it at all. Just dispel and weakness. Am I dumb? Dude, why do kids do this? Like, I'm losing 16 rank to something that I should have just won right there. Unbelievable, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're just making the game worse for people. I hate that so much. Idiotic. I hate people. Like, bro, that is such an obviously it's gonna kill you. So why your rank is not on the line like mine is. I'm not gonna tie it when there's a chance I literally just win, right? What is that? Oh, they're watching. Ooh, I'm gonna be very, very real. Like, that's very obvious that they know what's in the hand. Okay, so you're gonna lose rank with me then. Wrong or bye? I mean, I'm not, fine, I'll just tie it. You wanna be weird, right? Fine, honestly. One less balance in queue, bro. Honestly. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I wasn't born yesterday, dumbass, honestly.
Oh, it definitely seems like it. And I almost forgot. Guys, don't boost your rank either. This means if you avoid queuing certain individuals, you are manipulating the queue in your favor. But if Sauce asks anyone to queue dodge, that's acceptable. In short, queue and you might be called a sniper. Don't queue, and if you're ever seen again, you may be accused of boosting because you supposedly are dodging certain individuals or people. But that's for him to decide and for you to find out. Have fun, and Sauce, please work on your behavior and providing some evidence regarding the people you accuse. I don't want to have to do a more comprehensive video breaking down all the nuances of your behavior, so that would be appreciated if you do that. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.